Let me tell you a story about a friend of mine. We'll call him Leo. On paper, Leo was winning. Good degree, decent job, a nice Instagram feed full of travel photos and artisanal coffee. But if you caught him in a quiet moment, you'd see it, a flicker of unease. In meetings, he'd rehearse his point in his head only to have someone else say it first, louder and with more conviction. At parties, he felt like an imposter wearing his own clothes. His life was a series of checkboxes checked, yet he was haunted by a quiet, persistent question: do I actually deserve to be here? He tried all the modern fixes. He listened to podcasts about power poses in his bathroom mirror. He repeated affirmations until the words felt meaningless. He bought the courses promising unshakable confidence in 30 days. It was like putting wallpaper over a crack in the foundation. The moment any pressure came, the split would show again. One rainy Tuesday, after his contribution was overlooked in a project meeting, again, he called me, frustrated. "I'm done with the quick fixes," he said. "I need something real. Something that doesn't feel like I'm just tricking myself." I remembered a book gathering dust on my shelf, a worn copy of Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics. Not exactly the go-to for 21st century anxiety. But I had a hunch. "Leo," I said. "Forget the self-help gurus for a second. What if the blueprint for real confidence is over 2,300 years old?" He laughed. "What, am I supposed to wear a toga and debate in a marble courtyard?" "Just hear me out," I said. Aristotle didn't call it confidence. He called it something much more powerful. He called it virtue. And he didn't think you were born with it. He believed you build it, like a craft. Brick by brick, action by action. This is the story of how Leo, and maybe you, can learn to build real confidence, not from an Instagram influencer, but from one of history's greatest minds. It starts with a single, life-changing idea: we are what we repeatedly do. Aristotle's central idea is deceptively simple. Excellence, whether in confidence, courage, honesty, or anything else, is not an emotion you wait for. It's not a magical state of being. It's a habit. He called this concept hexis, pronounced hexis. It's your settled, reliable character. Your default setting. And how do you develop your hexis? Through practice. You become brave by doing brave things. You become honest by telling the truth. And you become confident. Well, we'll get to that. But Aristotle was no naive cheerleader. He knew just doing stuff wasn't enough. You couldn't become a great pianist by just banging on the keys randomly. You needed a target. You needed to aim for the sweet spot. This is his most brilliant contribution, the doctrine of the mean. Imagine a spectrum for any trait. On one extreme, a deficiency. On the other, an excess. And right in the middle, the golden, shifting, perfect middle, is the virtue, the mean. Let's take a social trait. On one end, you have shyness, deficiency of social expression. You clam up, avoid interaction, make yourself small. On the other end, you have buffoonery, excess of social expression. You're the loud, obnoxious one who needs all the attention, who talks over people, who performs instead of connects. Right in the middle. Wittiness. The ability to engage, to listen, to share a funny remark at the right time that puts people at ease. That is the virtue. Okay, Leo said when I explained this. So I'm supposed to be perfectly in the middle all the time. That sounds exhausting and robotic. Ah, but here's the beauty. The mean is not the mathematical average. It's relative to you. For a professional comedian, the golden mean of wit might be far closer to the excess end than it would be for a brain surgeon. The mean is the right amount, at the right time, with the right people, for the right reason. It's not about being bland. It's about being appropriate, effective, and true. Leo was intrigued but skeptical. So my confidence is just a muscle I haven't been exercising. What's the deficiency in excess? We figured it out together. The deficiency of confidence is obvious: cowardice or shyness. You back down from challenges, you silence your voice, you let fear make your choices. The excess of confidence, though, is just as bad: rashness or hubris. This is the false confidence of the blowhard, the person who speaks without knowledge, who takes foolish risks without preparation, whose confidence is really just arrogance masking deep insecurity. The golden mean, the virtue in the middle. Aristotle called it courage. But not just battlefield courage. Moral and social courage. The courage to be seen, to risk being wrong, to stand by your reasoned convictions, to take appropriate action even when it's scary. That is real confidence. It's not the absence of fear. It's the judgment to act rightly despite the fear. So how do I find this magical middle? Leo asked. By missing it, I said. Repeatedly. Aristotle said we become builders by building, and harpists by playing the harp. Likewise, we become just by doing just actions, temperate by doing temperate actions, brave by doing brave actions. Leo decided to make his life his laboratory. Experiment 1, the meeting. His deficiency was to stay silent. His imagined excess was to dominate aggressively. His golden mean target, make one clear, prepared contribution. He didn't need to own the room. He needed to own his point. He prepared one thing to say. When the moment came, his heart hammered, but he spoke. His voice wavered a bit, but the point was solid. He hit his mean. Experiment 2, the disagreement. A colleague took credit for his idea. Deficiency, say nothing, seethe silently. Excess, cause a public scene, accuse angrily. The golden mean, schedule a private conversation and state the facts calmly. I was glad my idea was useful. For the future, I'd appreciate it if we could present collaborative work together. It was terrifying, but it was just. He was practicing the virtue of confident fairness. He wasn't always perfect. Sometimes he still clammed up, deficiency. Once, he overcorrected and interrupted someone, excess, he apologized afterward. But each action was data. He was no longer just feeling unconfident. He was a craftsman, deliberately practicing his craft. The feeling of confidence wasn't the goal, it was becoming the byproduct of his actions. After a few months, Leo was changing. His shoulders were straighter. He made eye contact. He didn't feel like a superhero every day, but he was acting more consistently in line with the person he wanted to be. The habit was forming. Then came the company-wide restructuring. Layoffs. His entire department was on the chopping block. The office was a pit of anxiety, a fog of rumors and fear. This was the ultimate test. All his little practices in meetings felt like playing in the minor leagues. This was the World Series of stress. The day the list was posted, Leo's name was on it. He was gutted. All that work, that deliberate building, and it felt like the foundation had been obliterated by forces beyond his control. The old, deficient voice came screaming back, see? You never belonged here. You were right to be insecure. He called me, devastated. What was the point of all that Aristotle stuff? It didn't save my job. I feel like I'm back at square one. This, I told him, was the most important moment. This was where the modern concept of confidence would have utterly failed him. Because if confidence is just a feeling of being secure and successful, then it's gone the second your circumstances crumble. It's a fair weather friend. But Aristotle's confidence, the virtue of courage, isn't for fair weather. It's for storms. Leo, I said. You've been practicing for this. Not for the easy meetings, but for the catastrophic days. The virtue isn't about controlling outcomes. It's about controlling your character in the face of any outcome. Right now, what is the golden mean between giving up in despair, deficiency, and raging blamefully against the company, excess. There was a long silence. Then he understood. The courageous, confident mean was to accept the reality with dignity, and to take the next right step. He didn't feel courageous. He felt scared and sad. But he acted courageously. He thanked his mentors. He helped his team wrap up projects. He negotiated his severance with calm respect. He allowed himself to grieve, but he didn't wallow. He started updating his portfolio that same week. The shocking, transformative moment for Leo wasn't a triumph. It was a catastrophe. And in that catastrophe, he discovered the true power of Aristotelian confidence. It had become his hexis, his default setting. When the world shook, his character didn't crumble. The habit held. The muscle he built was strong enough to carry the weight. He wasn't confident because his life was perfect. He was confident because he knew who he was, and how to act, even when it was hard. Leo's story isn't over. He landed a new job, one that aligned better with his skills. But the real victory wasn't the new title. It was the quiet knowledge that no matter what title he held, he possessed something unshakable, a reliable character he had built himself. This is Aristotle's timeless gift to us. Real confidence isn't a mask you put on. It's a craft you practice, a path you walk. Your path starts with 3 simple steps. 1. Identify your mean. Pick one area where you feel a lack of confidence. Is it speaking up? Taking risks? Setting boundaries? Define the deficient and extreme behaviors. Then, describe the golden mean, the effective, appropriate, courageous action. 2. Practice, don't perfect. Your goal is not to be flawlessly confident tomorrow. Your goal is to perform the action of the golden mean once this week. Then again. You will miss. You will overcorrect. This is the process. A sculptor doesn't criticize the block of marble, they chip away with intention. 3. Focus on action, not acclaim. Don't do it for the praise or the result. Do it because it is right. True virtue, Aristotle said, is done for its own sake. You speak up because your voice has value, not just because you might get a promotion. That internal compass is the core of real confidence. You are the architect. Every choice, every action, is a brick. At first, the structure seems fragile. But with consistent practice, you build a citadel of character that no external storm can level. So, what's your first brick? What is one small, courageous action you can take today that aligns with the person you truly want to be? If this ancient roadmap to a more confident you resonated, if you're ready to trade quick fixes for real foundation, then this channel is your workshop. Hit that subscribe button. We're building a community of modern craftsmen and women, rediscovering timeless wisdom for our everyday lives. Share this with someone who's talented but too quiet, who's brilliant but feels like an imposter. Let's help each other find our golden mean. And leave a comment below. What's one area of your life where you're ready to build real, Aristotelian confidence? Remember, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Let's build excellent habits, together.